welcome to the Game Design Variety Hour. I'm your host, Matthew Dunstan. A little bit late today, sorry everyone, but I see that, everyone's having a bit of fun already without me. Welcome all to the stream. We'll try and catch up a little bit. Hi, Zate and Rob and Jay, and Robert's here as well, and Brad, and Rory. Oh, excellent. Thank you. Well, as always, thanks for dropping by today. It's been a bit of a slightly strange day, I guess, or I don't know. I've been a bit out of sorts today, so I was a bit disorganized. So let's see how it goes. I'm not sure how long I'll stream for today, but it seems like Fridays are becoming the regular work on this. I need to come up with a better name. I keep thinking the Habitat game, but I know we can't call it that anymore. That's what I'm thinking of doing, and just sort of chilling out, working on that a little bit. How's everyone doing? How's your week been? How's it's been a bit of a rainy, gloomy kind of day here, and not cold enough for snow, so just been a lot of rain. I had a little bit of Czech bureaucracy to do this morning. I registered to be to pay tax here. You need to essentially go to the post office so that they can officially email you. I had to laugh. It was sort of funny that they didn't, like an online system you can't register for online. But anyway, that's how it goes. Hey, Vess, how you going? Oh, my system worked, did it? Oh, well, thank you. Yeah, I have to admit that I'm not self-promotion or even just advertising, and I'm in awe of you, Bez. Actually, your promotion is always very good. I see it in lots of different places, but yeah, I'm not very good at necessarily saying what I'm doing. But what has everyone been up to? So apart from the bureaucracy, still just sort of ticking away. What's been happening? We had a few meetings with publishers, which is good. Sort of continue on with various things, and there is a just catching on for projects. It's funny. There's one game that may be released this year, maybe next year. It was sort of funny. We were remembering that with the publisher, we were working on it quite closely, exactly when the pandemic started, which meant that we were like almost about to change something about the game, and then suddenly we didn't do any work on it. And actually, we all need to like re-meet and work out what's going on. So that's been a bit of fun. Rory says Continents. Yeah, that's a good name. Okay, let's call it Continents from now on. That shall be the name of the game. Rob is in the process of building a game on Screentop at the moment. My ripoff of Family Business slowly coming along. Oh, excellent. So yeah, Screentop is this sort of other like in the browser game system thing, right? If I remember right. Hey Alex, how you going? Welcome. So this week has been working where I couldn't get to any of Michael's streams as so busy. Yeah, that's tough. Yeah, I mean there are just weeks like that, and I actually haven't caught many of Michael's streams either, or Bez's, unfortunately, apart from being on Bez's stream on Tuesday, which was a lot of fun. Bez, since the morning stream, I've spent some time with Parent 1, and Parent A is hopefully coming out of hospital tomorrow. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that your parents in the hospital, but I hope all is well, and fingers crossed okay recovery with everything. I did a little bit of playtesting last night, which was nice with the Cambridge group, with David Digby, Federico, which was nice. It's a bad week to have missed Michael. He was fun this week, but the highlight was morning coffee with Alan Wednesday. You're too kind, Zay. Thank you very much for that. That's a really kind thing to say. I have to. This week has probably been. I think I mentioned it on Wednesday. It's been a bit of a sort of a streaming overload for me. So I've sort of taking a little bit of a step back, I guess, this week, and just sort of taking it as it comes. But I like making sure that I want to keep up the kind of schedule while I can. So even if I'm not as prepared as I might like to be. So I should say, as always, just happy to chat about anything. If you've got any questions, anything in the gaming world that you'd want to chat about, just drop it in the chat. My desire to work on the game, is there, but it doesn't have to be what we do. So I like to think that it's a kind of a nice place where we're all just hang out and can chat what we like to do, and maybe I show off a few game things. I'm glad Okay, has to stay in Stripe operation. Oh, I'm glad to hear that. Anyway, thinking of you at the time. They said, "What's the sound of your favorite color?" What's the name of that? That's an actual. Is that not a what's the word? Like a condition or something that some people do, associate. Like I know there was something that some associate numbers with colors, or it's some way that our minds think of synesthesia. Yeah. Is that sometimes how it manifests itself? Sounds of your favorite color. I don't actually know if I have a favorite color, to be honest. I guess it probably is blue, although it's almost sort of default. But you're looking for my take on it, Tate. I like, when I think of blue, I think of the sea. I think it goes to something calming and bundled up. I think my sort of, if I had to think of my favorite happy place, even though it's not particularly what's the word, practical or likely to ever happen, would be I've seen these amazing small houses on the Isle of Skye. There was a Grand Design episode. Anyone who doesn't know, Grand Designs is quite a nice architectural show that's been running in the UK for a very, very long time. I don't know how long, like 25 years or something. Someone can pop in the chat and say how long it actually has been. And they follow people often building and designing their own houses. And there was one episode where there was someone building a new house on the Isle of Skye in Scotland, or like off the coast of Scotland, obviously. And there was this amazing sort of very thin, quite small house, and it sort of sloped up like this. So you had this flat window at the end which just looked over the sea. And it's windy and it's cloudy, and it's you can see the water. And there's something about, I love that, being indoors and seeing nature, sort of wild nature, but being comfortable indoors and playing a game or something like that. That is sort of, and so when I think of blue, that's sort of the kind of blue I think about. I guess stormy sea blue or something like that. Yeah. Hi Bass, how you going? Welcome. Thanks very much for dropping by. We're just chatting at the start of the stream. Why is your StreamYard color not blue? Oh, that's a very good question. Why is it not blue? I could just change it right now, probably. Let's do that. Let's change it to some sort of blue. There we go. I'm a bit more on brand now. I don't know why I chose my graphic design sensibilities are not very strong, so I probably just chose whatever was there. Since 1999, Grand Design's been going. Oh wow, that's amazing. Yeah, I really enjoy the show. It's I don't know whether I really watched it much when I was in Australia. Probably a little bit. It was one of those shows that in Australia we get all the because it's not BBC technically, it's Channel 4, I think, but we got a lot of English TV shows would come across, often a little bit later. I remember even when I go back to Australia now, they're still showing Grand Design's reruns from like 20 years ago, and it's still really interesting, actually. Yeah, so I would recommend, and from like a design point of view, it's just one of those kind of design adjacent things that I find interesting. So the sound of crashing waves, yeah, I guess so. Yeah, I think so. I think being close to a window and with a nice like window seat or something comfortable like this. I should say that this is like purely a fantasy in my mind, because I don't think I've ever really, I'm not sure if I would even be very comfortable sitting in a window seat for very long. But yeah, hey Rumblelees, how are you going? Hey Robin, sorry. Why are we talking about Grand Designs? Well, there was a question about what's the sound of my favorite color, and I said blue, and then that made me think, why do I like blue? And I was sort of thinking about sort of a favorite place, and it was something to do with being near the sea in the wild weather and looking out through the glass through a window, and I particularly remember a Grand Design episode of someone building a house on the Isle of Skye. And I was very lucky to go to the Isle of Skye with my parents like 3 years ago now. I really hope to go back there, actually. It's somewhere I really, yeah, I wouldn't mind living there for some number of months, actually. So the sound of your favorite color. Yes, what number is that? Yeah, it was a question from Zay. Bass says, just checking out the live top 100 of all time in the Dice Tower. Mike has Monumental in place 13. Oh, wow. Oh, thank you. Well, thanks for letting me know. Oh, wow. Okay. I will, I'll have to check it out. I'm glad that it's, yeah, Mike seems to like it. I mean, I think it was also in Tom's top 10 of 2020, I think, as well, if I'm right. So, yeah, I think we're actually really lucky with it in a way, because, for such a big project, And had it been delayed just a little bit longer, it would have really like arrived really in the middle of the pandemic, and then nobody would have been able to play it really. So we're a bit lucky that it kind of worked out. So yeah, I'm really glad that it's sort of come. I need to play. I mean, I haven't even had a chance to play it very much, actually, to be honest. My experience with I actually only have one copy myself, and it's not even a minis copy. I'm not much of a minis person, to be honest, so it's not a big problem. And for playtesting, in a way, not having to worry about the minis is a bit easier. So I've been mainly like solo playtesting various things for the expansion and other things. So that's my experience, but I haven't really had the kind of chance to introduce it to people very often, unfortunately, which will happen hopefully in the future. Yeah. Oh, Tom, it was in his top 100 as well. Oh, wow. Okay. Oh, well, I'll definitely check it out. No, that's really nice, actually. No, yeah, it's always nice to see these things, and that just people are still playing the games, I guess, after all these years. Actually, in some way, I don't mind. I'm not sure if it's a selfish thing to, but I do sometimes go on if I want to sort of cheer myself up a bit for whatever reason. I'll go into Board Game Geek and look at like ratings of my old games or something, and I just look at comments actually, because it is self-selecting, and people will usually put comments more about games they enjoy. But yeah, it does do something to sort of cheer me up a little bit, if I'm down, which is really nice. And people are so kind to write really nice things. And to be honest, even the negative ones, I'm often, to be honest, most of the negative comments or the kind of like critical comments are exactly that. They're critical. They're very. I honestly find it generally quite constructive. I think I'm probably pretty good at this point at like very quickly like going past the sort of like blanket I hated this game kind of thing, and there are still a few like that. Yeah, I agree, Robert. It can be tough, but I guess I go back and look at them for a very, very specific reason, and that is usually to look. But it sounds completely ridiculous, and it kind of is, but it's just to like pep myself up and to read something nice about a game I made. It's not because if you're, I think the thing is it's you spend so much time working on these things, and often by yourself. And I've said it other times, like if you don't take time to enjoy it, or to, I guess, to share the enjoyment other people have had in the games. Board games are such a strange creative process in a way, in that there's such a distance between the act of creation and the kind of like the people who enjoy that creation. I guess it's something like film in a way, because filmmakers, they'll make a film and they won't really interact with the people who have seen the film, who will eventually see the film. It's very different, I guess, from musicians playing live. You suddenly get this moment where you get to share like creator and watcher together. And in board games, you don't really get that very often. So yeah, I guess the best I do is I look at Board Game Geek comments. Yeah, so anyway, but I'm quite lucky. I'm sadly learning this as a new designer. Okay, yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, I think it is true. And I mean, I have to admit, there are games that I don't look at all my games. there are definitely some games that are better received than others. And there are also, the other thing I would say is there's definitely not a bias, but there's, just there are particular, BGG is a particular audience, and it's not necessarily everybody in the gaming world. It's not everybody who will play your game. And there are certain games that I think just generally do better on Board Game Geek and get more stuff written about them, but it doesn't mean that they're better or worse games. It's just a bit harder though, if they're not kind of games that fall into that kind of audience. It's a bit harder to find nice things written about them if you're kind of looking for that positive feedback, I guess. So yeah, that's I'm lucky, and I'm lucky in that now that I have enough games out, I can be a bit selective if I want to go back and cheer myself up. Like I'm not going to go and look at, like, I don't know. I'm trying to think, which is probably my worst game that's ever sold. Light and Dark. It was a very small flicking game from AEG, which to this date has not made back its advance. I don't know what the total number of sales. The total number of sales is probably not more than 500 copies or something like that. Which is every time we still get a sales report every 3 or 6 months. I can't remember what it is. And there's still this big red number, where you look, and that's because it's still in the red. It still hasn't got past the advance, essentially. So yeah, and I think I think I looked once or twice about the reviews on Board Game Geek, and yeah, they weren't particularly favorable. So yeah, anyway, I know which ones to look for, I guess, is the thing, and I've been fortunate enough that yeah, it's sort of funny, people talk about like the 1 in 10 kind of idea. I think, you know, it both in terms of like finishing creative projects, so like, you know, you have 10 ideas and one of them is good and gets to the end, or you have, you know, 100 ideas, 10 of them you get to a prototype, and one of them you get to you actually pitch, or whatever. I think the same is for actual published games. You know, like 1 out of 10 is the kind of the hit, or however you want to say that, and you know, 9 out of 10 are good, but don't ever do that well, I guess. Been missing. Robin says, also the ratings for me aren't as valuable as looking at the ratings graph, number of votes for same value. Yeah, that's true. I think that can be a bit useful just to see, I guess, how that falls. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know how useful in the end it is in a way. Beth says, I get 100%. I want to read everything, even if I didn't publish it. I want to watch every review and know how it was enjoyed, learning how to do better, but also for the validation, also because, well, that's why I make games, to have them be enjoyed and played. Yeah, exactly. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I mean, I know it does sound a bit self-serving when I say it out loud now, but you know, if people are happy to say it, I'm very happy to read it, and I'm very appreciative of it. So yeah. Ray says, score of feedback has been decent so far, but the odd bad comment rating still gets me. Yeah. No, I definitely feel you, Rory. I mean, I've definitely had that happen with, and I think for me, the things that still hurt, I mean, in some way, I don't know how much they hurt me still, is there are still a few reviewers that I really like and respect a lot. For example, Shut Up and Sit Down. I really respect the work they do, and Space Biff, whose name I'm now forgetting, unfortunately. You know, for example, of a couple of reviews I really like, and both of those, they've reviewed multiples of my games, had a negative review every time, and I completely appreciate it, but at the same time, it kind of still hurts. You know, but yeah, Rory says, I'm too sensitive a soul for the world of board games. Well, that's why you know, I think at the end of the day, we can choose the audience or the group, you know, community we get to have, and I like to think hopefully this community is also a kind of a place for positivity and comfort of some sort. Even if you're just listening to my ramblings, not making much sense for an hour a day, I hope it's in some way, I don't know, relaxing or something enjoyable. But like, I think if I sort of think, the more and more I think about what I want to do in terms of streaming, is to kind of provide something like that, a place where people can come every so often each week and just, you know, it's something just a bit comfortable, and maybe you learn something. I think that's an aspect that I enjoy, like, you know, sharing knowledge and but you know, that's equal or secondary to just providing something, you know, enjoyable and a place where people can feel like that they're kind of supported, because I hope I can do that in some way, or at least bring people together who are supporting each other, because, you know, I have amazing people in chat. So thank you everyone. There says, say something nice about whichever of my games is your favorite. Well, I mean, I have to admit, it's still probably Yogi. I mean, that, you know, if I think about, you know, I think there are just some times where designers just capture an idea that's incredibly pure, and it doesn't happen very often, actually. I think, to be honest, you know, it really the vast majority of games, and it's not a criticism, are iterative. You know, they build on what comes before, and a lot of things in mankind, you know, civilization work that same way. Like, I worked as a research scientist. Most things in science are also very iterative. You take things that come before and you build on them, and games are the same. But every set now and then there's just something very pure that someone sort of comes with out of nowhere. And I think Yogi is an example of that, and I think that's quite exemplary, I would say. So, oh, there was a Twitch redemption. Sorry, say something nice about whichever. Oh no, I am doing it. Okay, good. I am following that. So yeah, for me, I think that, and there's something about, yeah, the purity of that idea. I think that's how you can kind of tell when an idea really is like that, because there's no other way that it could be. You know, that game wouldn't make sense in any other way. And I know, of course, that it didn't start like that way. And I was involved in some of those really early playtests at London Playtest. But when you look back and where it ends up, it found its place, and that is this kind of really unique expression, and it just functions exactly as it is, and you can't add anything, you can't take anything away from that core experience, and it's just fantastic. So yeah. I'm still very, very impressed, and I haven't made it. I would say I don't think I've made anything like that to this point. That is that pure. I think there's a game that I hope will come out. This narrative game that may or may not be with. Maybe it will be with Space Cowboys in the future. Maybe, I hope. We might hear next week, but that's probably the closest I'd get to something that I'd call something very pure. But even then, I'd say it's still kind of building on other things. Robin says it's the ones that, so talking about reviews, it's the ones that are categorically wrong that annoy me, as there's no way to point out the person's error, especially knowing the person most likely only played the game one time, completely invalidating the hours and hours of playtesting the game it's been through. Yeah, it's tough. It's rough. I think it's, and I mean, ultimately, I think it comes with just more time. That sort of dulls a little bit. But yeah, no, I completely agree. I still I still remember smarting about when Shut Up and Sit Down reviewed Elysium, and the fact that I remember this tells you how much it kind of affected me. But they gave a very critical review about the theme in Elysium, and they were like, oh, it's sort of pasted on, and I was sort of like, well, but yes, but all these other games have completely, at least we put character into it, and I had 8 different artists for the gods, and etc., and you still think it's based on, what do you want? But anyway, so it's I think you in the end, I think that's the end of the day. It's like, what do you want to get from the reviews, and what do you want to get from that experience? I know it's normal human curiosity, as Bez said before in one of the comments, that you just want to read everything, but I think sitting down and sort of working out what's the purpose for yourself might help, And for me, there's probably 2 main things. Obviously, when I'm playtesting a game and early stages, getting that kind of critical feedback that might help me learn like what was wrong with the game. And I remember a review from Z Garcia, who I think is probably of the Dice Tower is the reviewer I like the most, and I think my taste as a gamer most aligned with him, even though not all my designs do. But he reviewed Diesel Demolition Derby and didn't give it a very good review. But there were a couple of things he pointed out that were actually really excellent points. And, after I got over my, that's a bit annoying, I felt like I learned from that. So I think that's the first thing. And the second thing is just reading some positive things to perk me up. And then I think looking through that kind of filter helps me look quickly through the other comments, which aren't going to fit into those 2 things. But this is me saying this with some distance from reading a comment that would, if you talk to me the moment after someone had written some annoying comment, I would not be saying this. I'd be very annoyed. So we're only human after all, but we're all here to, feel free to add your, if you're ever raging against something, we'll all support you. And yeah. Rory says, luckily years of being a graphic designer desensitized me to most feedback. Yeah. I think it must be quite tough in that sort of way. Zate. Oh well, hopefully my review was okay, Bez. I'm not sure. Rory says, I think I'm actually quite a bit further back in the chat, or I don't know. Making games in isolation and stuff, having a computer definitely makes it easier. Yeah, and I mean that's why playtesting groups and things like that are amazing. But I think hopefully this new kind of, and for me, it feels like it is a new community, this kind of Twitch community in some ways. It's got some characters who I knew before and who we knew each other, but it feels like it's a little bit of a wider sphere than it was before, and a new community that we can all kind of enjoy. What am I? Did I miss something? Oh, here, Robin. To all the designers in chat and that, do you design your games for yourself? That's actually a really good question. Because I think about it. Sorry, I need to drink. When I think about Bruno Cathala, is sort of the designer that stands out most in that I hear from him that he makes games that he enjoys, that he wants to play, which is great because his games are amazing. So I'm like, wow, you're really lucky. You can keep making games. I don't ultimately. I don't think I do, which is a bit strange. For me, I'm much more interested in creating a game and discovering what it is. And in the end, it might not be a game that would necessarily be something I would play a lot. But I like to think that I am kind of professional enough, or I'm good enough at designing that I can even design something that wouldn't be my perfect game, but it could be the perfect game for someone. So I guess I don't actually. Some games, yes, some games are absolutely. But I've actually found, to be honest, some of the categories of games that I enjoy personally the most, I find most difficult to design. So these 45 to 60-minute midweight Euro games, I have kind of stopped trying because I just can't really do it, or it's not, it never kind of works for me. And variable power card games, like you look at something like, Monumental, Elysium are games like this, but they only come every so often. But at least I think with those types of games, I know there are one or two projects that I'll have at a time. And usually there's like one pet project, which is like, yeah, this is for myself. I'm okay that it might take years. I want to make it good. I want it to speak to the kind of things I like. So some of the games I do design myself, or I like to have one like this food game, which I was actually thinking like I need to try and just start it because it's kind of been, flounder or stalled for like a year or something. So it'd be good to start. There's always just more things to do at the moment, which is nice. There's lots of like kind of, it's that sort of mix between, you talk about this grid of like, something is either urgent or not urgent and important or not important. And I think there's a lot of tasks right now which are urgent and important, which is not a bad thing. And you have to kind of do them, when you have games coming out and you have to kind of work on various things about the release development. But they're also important but non-urgent things. And I feel like these are games that I need to kind of make sure I carve out some time to keep working on. Bez says, I did this far more earlier on. I think my games do at least partially reflect my taste, but I'm more and more mindful of other folks and willing to make a game worse for myself. Notably, Turtsy doesn't play solo games, but designs them. Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, I don't think it's the case for everyone. And some more. Oops, I've missed something. Yeah. Oh gosh, I've just missed. Okay. Oh, look away, Bez. Sorry, I've just. Blah blah blah. Bess says mostly it starts with the thing that's close to their heart, but then there's the threshold what system mechanics will work with a good game and not only to my delight. Yeah, I think it's for Robert, since many people are here in the process of designing something, should we arrange a time to try each other's games out? Yeah, well, I mean, I don't know whether Bez is having a game jam, in a week or something like that. Maybe there'll be time for sort of various testing. Maybe we can have time on Discord where we'll sort of have open testing or something like that. Could be interesting. Anyway, I think I should, instead of just trying to, I feel like I'm never gonna be able to keep up with the chat. But let's do a bit of light designing. I'm actually thinking of I encourage anybody, if you like to listen to music or like to have some chill music on, as if that can work with the stream, go ahead, because I might try and listen to a little bit of music and talk but I'm going to have it on my headphones so that those who don't like music, so it's kind of a completely optional thing. You can play your own music. But let's see. Please tell me if I can everyone still hear me? This will be the test about whether these headphones work okay with. And then if I do this and try and play some music, and nobody is hearing music. Just checking that. Hey Manuel, how you going? Welcome. Yeah, so we're doing a little bit of designing, and I'm chilling out and thinking about what we're doing. Cool. So let's share a screen. Let's share a screen. Okay, so actually, I think I think I'm gonna give them. I can't. I think once I have music, I can't concentrate and can't talk at the same time. So we'll go back to this. So thanks to Rory for the actual name of. We shall now know the game that shall now be known as Continents is here, and oh gosh, I've lost it. I've lost my. How can I find where to? Yes, Rory, look away as you see me once again struggling with everything here, struggling with Illustrator. So for those who don't know the game, I need to actually reset it because, and this is where I'm going to start using some layers so that I don't have to completely change everything every time I start. So in the game, you're kind of raising continents from the primordial ocean or sea or something like that. And you're going to populate it with animals as well. And you'll score points for that, essentially. And I've just been working on the game the last couple of weeks on stream. And Rory was about to, yeah. I know. I'm terrible. Anyway, I promise I will get better. It's just, yeah, it takes me a while. When are you playing? Are you then incontinence? You just wanted me to say that on stream, didn't you, Robin? Well done, well done. I've been successfully pranked or whatever. So, what we got? Yeah. I'm just resetting it from the last playtest. So I haven't, for those who have been following, I haven't played it at all since the last test. So it looks like it's just going to progress, once a week on Fridays, but I don't mind that. I think it's kind of a nice way to do things. Whoops, that's not what we wanted. Okay, so what I want, so there's a couple of things. Oh, Aqua's struggling with Photoshop. Good luck with that, Aqua. Hope it's okay. So what I need to do is we're going to have essentially, I think the idea where we sort of left off. Well, one thing I'd like to do is to change this shape because I think having something like something that's always, well, maybe it's not so bad. It's just if anyone has a good suggestion of it like a two-dimensional shape. I mean, maybe it doesn't matter too much, but I guess I would prefer if it was something that I could fill in. So I don't know, actually. Maybe I can have a sort of a cross, but you need something. All right, well, I'll leave that to thinking about it. Yeah, but basically, I need to have filled in symbols, which are they're the kind of monoliths. That's where each of the things starting. Yeah. And thank you, Rory, for helping out everyone in chat about graphic design or something. We'll have you on for graphic design help sometime. Anyway, so yes, we're going to have some. I think the idea for a little bit of variety is to have spaces which can start where the monoliths will start and where water will start. And I think the idea at the moment is to have 6, so maybe to have 12 spaces on the map, which randomly at the start of the game will be either designated as a monolith or a water space, which means that we start with some water. And so I feel like I always forget how many spaces there are. There's like 9, 15, another 7, 22, 44, plus another 8. So there's 52 spaces, 40. Okay, so that's fine. Oh, Arrowhead. Oh, thank you. Yeah, that's that's not a bad. That's a bit better. I guess it's still a bit annoying to kind of, but we can do an arrowhead or something like that. I'm sure there's actually I might just load one in from Noun Project or something. Yeah, the other option is sort of like a cross or something like that, I guess. Possibly. Oh yes, plus sign. Somebody said plus sign. Yeah, plus sign could be also fine. Okay, let's try this. Just grab one from Noun Project. Put it up over here. Okay, oops. A bit smaller. And I'll group that. And I'll get rid of this. I'll switch it, so hopefully that'll do. That will do. Okay, so yeah, now I just have to determine some collection, and I think we have 9 rows. So I would say maybe these columns should have 2 in them. So what I'll do is I'll try and mark. What shall we do? What shall we do? I mean, we probably just want to mark them somehow. So what I might do is just have them as grayed out. Yeah, let's try that. So these grayed out ones are going to be the ones that are potential starting points. I don't know how. Oh, a semicircle. Oh, yes, that's good. That's good. Actually, semicircle is a lot easier, probably. I mean, in that it's kind of there's enough room to like to put a letter in it, which is a good idea. So yeah, let's do a semicircle. And because I'm sure there's a way I can make it directly in Illustrator, but I'm just going to grab one from Now Project again. Here we go. Well, then maybe I'm not going to be able to fill this in, so anyway, I'll figure it out. I'll figure it out somehow. Okay. So yeah, we still need to just fill in more spaces. So I'm just going to do it kind of randomly, to be honest. Oops. That's why I encourage. Oh, thanks, Rory. That's why I encourage everybody to listen to whatever music they feel like, because yeah, some of this is just going to be me fumbling around in the dark. One at the top, maybe. And I mean, I think, and this is a case of, you know, I'll always basically just try something randomly at the start. You know, I think when you're designing something, you don't really know what's important. So it's sort of perfect reason just to do something. So you get to the point of trying it out. I know Robin had a problem that this was very it's not particularly very symmetrical, but I don't think I want it to be symmetrical, really. So there should be 12. Okay, so there are 12 spaces now. Oh, thank you, Rory. I shall check my email. Semicircle. Perfect. This is like live help on the stream. Oh, okay. Oh no. Okay, I have such an ancient copy of Illustrator that it might not work. But thank you very much for trying, Marie. It's fine. Okay, so what we have to do is, so now I'm going to use this idea of layers, where what I will do is I'm going to try and get everything. Okay, this is, again, apologies everyone, this must be absolutely maddening to watch, but so I will do this, and then I will deselect these numbers. Okay, so hopefully, and then I will make a new layer, which is that. And then in that layer, I will now just copy the board on top. And so basically this should mean that if I'm just editing in this layer now, oh, and I need to copy these shapes into this layer. Okay, and then I will lock the layer underneath, and hopefully this is all fine now. Yeah, that seems like it should be fine, I think. So let's see. And maybe I'll make all of these red just to make it match the semicircle. They can be like the kind of the starting things. So, okay. So that's the first thing I wanted to try. We're going to try to have we're going to try a new oh, okay. I'm going to have to edit it in the first one now. Let's try a new scoring thing, which is like, let's say it's 10 points per complete AF chain. This is it was a suggestion, I think, from the last play. So one of the goals we're going to work for is to try and have just a complete chain of animals that can eat each other. And we're going to try that for the goal. I want a different one for the habitats this time. So what we might do is let's just try 2 habitats of size 5+. Let's just try that. Oh wait, actually. Great. Lurk away, Robin. Have a nice dinner. Hope we'll probably still be going if you come back. Okay, and then we want one for okay, let's try this. This could be interesting. Is a goal could be to have maximum. So let's say it's 5 points per continent with 1 or 2 monoliths. So this will encourage people to, like, it will encourage you to try and make, you know, it'll sort of link what you're trying to do with, we'll change that to not hyphenate. So we're trying. So what are some of the goals we're trying to do? So we've done these. So I can probably get rid of that. I will save this. So it's all there. Okay. So these are the goals that we're going to play with. Oh, probably can't see it very well. But the goals we're playing with, like the additional goals, is we're looking for complete A to F chains of animals. We'll get extra points for each habitat that is the size of at least 5 or more, and we get 5 points for every continent with 1 or 2 monoliths on it. So okay, so then the thing is, so we'll lock that and we'll go into layer 2. So this is now where we roll, and yeah, we probably don't need that anymore. So the next thing is to decide how these spaces are going to be populated at the start. And what I think I'll do is, what I'll do is I'll go left to right and roll a die. And basically, whatever the value is, if it's a value, I'll put in a monolith. And if it's a value that's already been done, then I'll put in water instead. And let's see how that goes. Just as a kind of a way to go, because yeah, it's a game where you only need 2d6, so we need some way to do the d6. So going left to right, let's see what we got. So we have a 2, which is going to be this. So Okay, that's not going to work. We're going to have to choose whites. And that's going to be put in there. Then, oh, actually, I should just copy it. Okay, then still going across. We've got a 1, so that's going to be a circle here. Let's go again. It's a 5 here. Yeah, I don't actually know if this is going to give me. Yeah, I don't know the best way to do this, because it's going to be, actually, now that I think about it, it's not sort of truly random, is it? Yeah. What shall we do? What shall we do? Well, let's see how it goes. I'll just do it as it is and go for that. So that was a 5. So this is going to have the star monolith going across, a 4. So it looks like we're going to have all the square down here. Be a lot of water around. Okay, so we at least have a 2 here, so we're going to start making some water. Next one across is a 1, so there's water here as well. This one down is a 3, so that's a triangle here. And now it's just waiting to see when we get a 6, basically. Otherwise, all of these are going to be water. Yeah, so this is probably not the perfect way to do the kind of randomization. But I mean, I guess you could get some quite different kind of setups this way, which could be interesting. But I like already that it's giving some sense of, okay, that's the 6 there. So it's already giving some sort of differentiation of where things sort of start, which I like. And so the rule is basically that you always start from the top, but if there's water already, you go under the first space under a water that's available. So in these, we'll start like on this space, for example, and here we'll start. It's the first space under water that's available. So let's see how it goes. Cool. All right. Well, I think we're ready to rock and roll. I can probably make these all a bit smaller and put this over here or something. Hopefully everyone can see it okay. And let's roll away. Roll away the stone. Oh, thanks, Robin, for reminding me to drink. It's a good idea. Okay, so a reminder how you roll. You roll 2 dice. The sum of those dice will tell you where the water goes. So I have a 3 and a 6. So that's a 9, which means we're now going to put water here. So there'll be water, oops. Okay, there's going to be water here. And I have a 3 and a 6, which basically means I choose one space. It has to be adjacent to a monolith, so the land has to sort of grow out, connected. And it chooses basically that I want either I'm going to have a C animal in a hexagon or an F animal in a triangle, essentially. So it's interesting in this particular thing, there's nothing pushing me towards a particular thing, but I do want sort of a long chain. So I'm actually wondering if I might start with this triangle, because also around the triangle, there's lots of space for, actually, I'm going to need to just go here for a sec. And then so I can copy them directly. It's my sort of lazy way of doing things. All right, so what I'm going to try and do is I'll use the 3 as a triangle, and then I'm going to, and I actually kind of want, I kind of want this land to be cut off. So I'm going to put this here. And then I will put an F in it. I'm sort of working on this chain and trying moving out from there, I guess. So let's see how that goes. Okay, I've got a 6 and a 2, which is an 8, which means this is the space that's going to get some water. 2 and a 6. So I could have a... Well, I could go for 2 sets of... 2 sets. Yeah, let's try that. I'm gonna put this as a B, and I'm gonna put an F in it as well. So that's me sort of making a bit of play for these longer chains. So let's see how that goes. I'll make a version eventually that people can play along themselves. I rolled a 7, a 1 and a 6, so that's gonna put this here. Okay, I don't want any more. So I don't want any more Fs. I think I've got to start thinking about A. So I'll have a hexagon and an A. The problem is I really hope that we're going to be able to get. So this would be like F, E, D, C, B. So maybe I'll put an A here. And just know that I really have to work on trying to, I'd like to connect this continent through here and hope that it doesn't. So I really don't want to roll an 8, essentially. 8 would be bad. I mean, it's already more interesting in terms of like the shape of the water and it's sort of cutting things. But so I have 11. So it's going to start down here. And I have a 5 and a 6. So I think I definitely want... Okay, so I can put a star and sort of make this star, improve this a bit, and have an E there. So working on my A to F there. Let's see how that goes. At some point, I'm probably going to have to not completely try and just make, to make the habitats. I won't be able to make everything work together. So it's a 7, which gives us this. And it's a 3 and a 4. So that's a D or a C. Well, we could keep going with the Ds, I guess. So A, B, C, D, E. Yeah, I can't get to the D there. Or I could do a C. Yeah, it's sort of, I feel like trying to do it here is not a good idea. So let's try and do a D. So it'll be a triangle with a D in it. And I guess I'll put it here to give it some flexibility. Okay, let's go. It's a 5 and a 6 again, so that's 11. So everything's filled up there, so we come back up to the top. Fill that in. So a 5 and a 6 again. Well, I guess we should work on, maybe we're going to be able to thread it through here. So it'll be a this with an E. Yeah, I definitely know there's a bit of a race on to fill in this space here and really hope that I get a D. So a 4. I really need a 4. It's a 9. Oh, it's close. And it is a 4 and a 5. So the 9 will fill in there. And now I can make sure the 5 is this type of habitat. And I can put a D in it. And now I've on the chance that I'm going to be able to make a continent here. Just snaking through the rising water, essentially. It's a 6, a 4 and a 2. So that's going to be here. Uh, 4 and a 2. So that's a... Oh, have I screwed this up somehow? Oh, I have, haven't I? Because now this is not going to... I can't fit in a full chain here, unfortunately, because this will be C and then B won't go anywhere else. Ah, you fool, Matt. All right. Well, what shall we do? What shall we do? We want habitats of size 5 or more. So what are we? Are squares much of a thing, or semicircles? Semicircles are something we're working on a little bit. So we could put a semicircle here and put a D there as well, and try and make a five sized thing. Snake eyes, 1 and 1. So that's going to give me a water here. And it's a circle with an A in it. We're not really doing circles very much. So D, C, B, A. Yeah. I think that we'll just put yeah, I'm not sure actually. I'll put an A here. Maybe that gives me some flexibility. Okay. Snake eyes again, 1 and 1. It's not very good. Well, oh, it's all falling apart a little bit. Well, we'll just keep making this a little bit bigger, I guess. I'm not sure if I'm missing things. All right. Well, we've got goals. It's a 5 and a 5, which is 10. So that's going to be here. 5 and a 5 is a star with an E. Star with an E. Well, don't really need E's very much, but I could at least put a star here. And then I'm making this E section a little bit bigger, and maybe there's a chance that I'm going to be able to, you know, get a full size, you know, five of the stars together. Let's see. It's a 9, 4 and a 5. So yeah, we knew that I had sort of screwed up this continent, but that's fine. 4 and a 5. So we could go star again with a D. Maybe it's not a bad idea, actually. I feel like just making the most of the stars, and then we'll make sure that we put a star up here, and that should be fine. It seems to be going along pretty quickly. It's 11, so that's going to close that in there. 5 and a 6. So we could put a star here. If we put a star here, then we have no chance of making our run, our chain, which would have been nice. For a 6, it's a yeah. We're not really going to get it for the rectangle. The only thing that I would like to do is to put, yeah, what I might do is to put a hexagon here, because well, actually, I don't really need that consonant to necessarily match up, to be honest, now that I think about it. Because the way the rules, you get 5 points for each consonant with 1 or 2 monoliths. So if I actually break these up, that'll actually give me more points. So that's maybe not a bad idea. So I think let's just come down here then. I'll put another E in, another E here. Okay, so I kind of want a 9 to sort of break up those consonants. And I got it, a 3 and a 6, which is a 9. So that's going to be this. Can I select it? Yep. Okay, 3 and a 6. So that is a C, which is what we wanted. So I'm going to go here. And put the C there. And this actually gives me the most chance because it doesn't matter which of these get filled in first. I can go BA or vice versa. So yeah, let's see if we can get it. 2-2, which is 4, which will start cutting this off, which is good. So it's going to be a B with a, okay, so let's put this here. So I'm sort of leaving this open, this space here, because I'm kind of hoping the most, what result do we actually want? We want an A and a star. So we want 1 and 5 together. seems a bit difficult. Might actually need wilds in this game. I was just thinking there are times when you really want something, and maybe having something a little bit like Nokmal, where you can choose to use a wild. Can choose and to use limited, maybe something like that. Yeah, there are definitely certain points where it seems that you really want certain results, and I guess it would be nice to feel like you could get that, because yeah, the chances of actually rolling a specific 2 numbers are not as high as you might hope. 2 and a 3, that was close. So it's 5. So that's going to be here. So we have successfully carved off that. So we just need a 6 really to break off these consonants. A 2 and a 3. Are we close to? Well, we could try for, yeah, because B, well, a B would make something that's going to feed here, but I prefer that to be a circle. So let's just keep going with the triangles down there and a B. Okay. 4 and 4, that's 8, which is here. Okay, so that triangles is off. So that's going to be a D and a square. So actually I can't get over here. That's sort of interesting. You can make these islands that, so I guess maybe the rule would be in this kind of exception, if you can't place adjacent, then you can kind of leap to another land mass maybe. But yeah. So I'm just going to hold off down here, put a D. It's 5. So it's going to go here. That's 1 and 4. So I wonder if I should just take my, yeah, it's a pity. It would be great if you would be able to get the star here, but I feel like that's not going to, it's not going to happen essentially. So I'm going to take my 1 while I can in the full chain essentially. 2 more turns. 2 more turns. It's 7. So actually we haven't had to, it's interesting, we haven't actually had to invoke the rule of, so in this case actually now this is a bit of a disaster because I actually have to go here because I'm not allowed to jump over here. So I'm going to be joining this up. It's 1 and a 6. So neither helps me too much. I may as well put an A in because A is always score. Okay. Oops, I don't know why, maybe that moved a bit. Well, we know it's going to have to be in this 10 row at the end, so that's going to get filled in. And I'll roll anyway. It's 5 and 5, so that's it's an E. Okay, so yeah, no, I think the flow is good, and it kind of jump started the game a bit more basically, because it's we had monoliths before, but we didn't have the 6 starting water spaces, so there were sort of 3 fewer turns. So overall, it's 52 minus, yeah, there's 20. I think there's 20 turns. I'm pretty sure. So what would I score? So the basic scoring. So this would be where I'd score my largest sort of habitat area each of them. So for circles, I think my largest one is here. So this would be 3. For the semicircles, our largest is 3. So that's another 3 points. For triangles, I have another 3 here. So that's another 3 points. For squares, I have 2 here. That's the best I've got, 2. For stars, I got close to the 5. I've got 4 there. And for the hexagons, I've got 2. So that would be the scoring for the habitats. And for the animals, you know, we'd go through. Yeah, I mean, this. I have to admit, this is a bit of a clunky thing. I wonder. There's a couple of different points in my mind. One would be that you basically only score the goals. That there's sort of no underlying scoring. But I guess the difficulty with that is that it's not. You know, it wouldn't quite work, I guess. Yeah, so I'm not sure. So what I might do is I'll delete the animals that don't feed. Although, yeah, because the thing is, then you want. Well, I guess if having the animals have to be part of a thing is fine. So okay, let's go through. So we're looking for Fs that can feed. That F can feed. That's fine. That F can also feed, so it's fine. E's. This E can't feed, so it goes away. This E can eat. This E can eat. That E cannot eat. Okay, so D's now. This D cannot eat. D has to eat a C, so that's fine. This can't eat. This can't eat. This can't eat. Then C's. C's have to eat a B. That's fine. Then with B's, B's have to eat an A. That one's fine. And then we have A's. So you would then count up the number of animals you've got left, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So that'd be 13 for animals. I think it was roughly probably 18 or something like that for habitats. And then I have 1 complete chain, so that's 10 points. I didn't get any habitats of size 5+. And I have 2 continents with 1 or 2 monoliths. So I would get 10 thing. I think I need to eat hearing all this. Oh, is it? Yeah, too much. Yeah, sorry, too much chatting about things like that. Yeah, so interesting. I think my sort of feeling is that basic scoring is a little fiddly in the case that you kind of have to do it. Is there a way to score mid-game? I think, I mean, maybe it's a kind of representation of it, but it seems a bit sort of like having to go over all the thing is a bit annoying, I guess. So I'm not sure about that. I think I would have to think about that basic scoring. But I think the goals are quite interesting. I think that drives you to do interesting things that you get. And I do like the sort of the look of the shapes. And yeah, thinking about the wilds, thinking about whether, you know, I think whether do we go back to 6 as being wilds is I think sort of a fair question. And I guess I'm not quite sure, to be perfectly honest, because I think, yeah, I just don't know. It might help a lot to make it more interesting, and I do wonder whether going back to 5 types of things is just easier, because 6 things there's just so much. Maybe it's just a bit too much. So like 6s wild. Only 5 animals, habitats. Eventually, yeah. But no, I think that definitely the way it was seeded works really well. I'm pretty happy with that. Yeah. So what my hope is now, and I'm not sure if this works, is that basically I should be able to sort of select everything here and then just delete it, and we're back to where we need to be. So what wait, oh gosh, undo the clear, undo. Oh, some. I'd love to see some illustrating skills, or see me just delete everything. that might also happen. But what I'll do is I'll save this now as the playtest, and then I will get rid of everything in this layer. So that work, and I'll save it as new version. That also works. Yeah. Well, thanks everyone for sticking by, yeah, hopefully it's just relaxing. I think it's an interesting middle point of the game at the moment, and it's very puzzly, which I like. I like the kind of the emergence of the shapes, and actually the more I play, it feels like that's actually the most important thing of the game, to be honest, and sort of tactically trying to carve out space. And so there's actually a part of me wondering whether that really is the sort of the real part of the game. It's more even a sort of cartographer's direction, where it's much more about where you put land, and maybe you don't even need animals. That's something, something potential, I think. Yeah, so not sure really. So yeah, we shall see. We shall see what we shall see. Yeah, but thanks everyone for hanging around. I think that might do it for me today. Actually, I think today's going to be a bit of a shorter stream. Hope everyone's had some fun, and I hope everyone will have a really nice weekend. Whatever you're going to be getting up to. Hope everyone's safe and well as much as they can be, and if you get to play some games, then great. But if not, hope you get to relax or something like that. Whatever's possible. Yeah, and I'm sure I'll be playing some Luck Be a Landlord at some point. And as always, you can't stop me. Although I'm not sure if I'll stream it or not, but we'll see. Yeah. Oh, thank you, Brad. That's really kind of you to say. Yeah, I don't know how. I guess these kind of streams are quite unstructured in a way. So hopefully there's some interesting things. But it's actually pretty close to exactly how I work and how I think. And I guess this particular game is reaching that point where, and it's actually what I like about Roll and Writes, or this, again, like simpler games where each playtest you can just have one thing that comes out of it, and that's sort of like, that's the next thing you want to try. So for me, like, I want to try Wilds next time and see how that might work, and think about a little bit about how to make scoring a little bit easier. But I think the change that we made for this test of trying the randomly kind of seeded spaces, I will make a point to also is think about how seeded spaces are filled, because I think the way we did it initially was fine, but yeah, I have to think about. I was wondering whether spaces should be linked always, so that you normally have a water or not. Yeah, I'm not sure. There needs to be a way, basically, that water can come up first, essentially. So yeah. Anyway, we'll see. We'll see about that. Yeah. So I hope everyone has a wonderful weekend. And thanks very much for dropping by, as always. And let's go raid someone. If anyone has a Ruel's Rule Gaviola is online, so maybe we'll go and raid Ruel. Yeah, but thank you all again for joining me, and take care, and thanks very much, and see you all on. I'll be back normal time Monday, 4 p.m. GMT, and yeah, have a great weekend. So thanks very much. Okay, let's go raid. Let's see how it goes. Great. Thanks, everyone. Take care. Bye.